Yes, my name is Council Dennis Akanjika as usual. This is our weekly episode. Today we are looking at business, establishing a business, legal registration and incorporation, licensing and taxes. So businesses have types. They are companies, they are sole proprietorship businesses, they are partnerships and other kinds of businesses. So we shall look at one at a time. So let's begin with a company. Many people hear of that word company, but many people don't understand the meaning of the word company. The word company comes from a Latin word companies, which means in association with others. So that is a company. A company also has types. There is what we call a single member company. Single member company, I think in a direct translation, it means a company of one person, a company owned or operated or whose shareholding is of one person. That is a single member company. So that type of company wasn't there before, actually, but it was brought by the recent law. I would call it a recent law, though it has existed since 2012. That law, which we call a recent law, has existed for the last 13 years. But of course, we still call it a recent law. It is the one that established a single member company, where all the shares are with one person, a single shareholder. So there are other types of companies called private companies. And there is also another type called public company. So the example of a private company is like the way you see Centenary Bank, Barclays Bank, MTN. These other companies you see, which people open up every day. Then people also open up single member companies these days. So what about a public company? A public company is the one whose memorandum and articles of association do not restrict the sale of its shares to the public. And an example of such a company is UEDCL, Uganda Electricity Transmission, UETCL, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Then there is which replaced, of course, there was Umeme Limited, which was also a public company. It was replaced by another public company called UEDCL. Sometimes it happens that the government has shares in these public companies. So, next, how do you establish a company? You establish a company by choosing a name. You apply for the name to be reserved by Uganda Registration Services Bureau. When the name has been reserved or accepted by Uganda Registration Services Bureau, then you go ahead and prepare necessary documents which you submit and you pay for, and you get a certificate of incorporation, which is proof of incorporating or establishing a company. So, under section 36 of the Companies Act, you apply for a name. And under section 40 of the Companies Act, the Registrar of Companies has the mandate to accept your name or reject your name if it is not appropriate or undesirable. So, a certificate of incorporation is proof of obtaining a company, incorporating a company, establishing a company. That's the process of registering a company. Let me use the word registering. That word is the one that is commonly understood by the people. So, a company under the law is a separate legal entity from its promoters or directors. What does that mean? It means that if you make a transaction with the company, if you deal with the company officially, then, and you get a problem, you get a misunderstanding with the transaction with that company, then you can ably and legally sue that company without necessarily looking for its directors or promoters. That's what it means by being a separate legal entity from its promoters or directors, and having a corporate status. Yes. So, a company has officers. A company is legally run by its officers. It speaks through its officers. The officers of a company are categorized under different categories. One is the members. The members are the owners of the company, the people who have shares in the company, the ones who have the final say majorly over company issues. In case they are very important issues to deliberate upon. The members are the ones who appoint directors. Then the directors also have a mandate under the law The mandate of the directors is to run the company, day-to-day running of the company. The directors are the ones who basically sign documents like documents to do with banking, checks, resolutions to open bank accounts, appointing auditors, an audit firm or audit firms, appointing a company secretary, and staff. That's the mandate of directors. Directors are officers of a company. Directors may not necessarily be shareholders, though shareholders can as well be directors. But the shareholders have a right to appoint people who do not have shares in the company to act as directors of a company. Some people are professional directors. They are hired for purposes of occupying the office or position of directors of a company. Yes. I'll give you examples of, let's say, the managing director of NSSF, the managing director of a bank, the executive director of a bank. Those are people who are hired to be directors. Banks have boards of directors also. And these are people who can also be appointed, hired and appointed. Yeah. So, I used an example of NSSF, but NSSF is not a company. But banks are companies. Yes. So, let's look at a company secretary. Section 187 of the Companies Act, Cap 106, establishes the office of a company secretary. And the Companies Act also outlines the duties of a company secretary. And some of the duties of the company secretary are to keep the records of the company, to keep the company seal, company documents, and also to update the register of companies in case there are changes or some actions have been taken in the company, like appointment of directors in the company. Those are the duties of the company secretary. The company secretary also is a secretary for company meetings. Let's say general meetings or board meetings. Yes. So, when you have incorporated a company, then you receive, as like I already said, you receive a certificate of incorporation, which is proof for which is proof of obtaining a company. Then, alongside a certificate, you are supposed to receive some documents like the memorandum, certified memorandum and articles of association, company form 20, which is for appointment of directors and a company secretary, and company form 18, which is for the address of the office of the company and the box number. Then there is what they call a beneficial owners particulars form, which is also called Form 1. Yeah. So those are some of the documents that you receive after incorporating a company. So when you buy shares in the company, what are you supposed to get? For you to get shares in a company, be it a private company or a public company, when you pay for the shares, you are supposed to get what they call a share certificate, which is proof of you being a shareholder in the company. You are supposed to be registered on the members register as proof of you being a member in the company. You can pledge actually a share certificate. You can pledge it for a loan, and you get a loan based on your share certificate. Yes. So that is for the company. Now we can look at sole proprietorship business. You can register a sole proprietorship business under the Business Names Registration Act, Section 4 and Section 5 there. When you register a sole proprietorship business, you get a certificate of registration. You also get a certified copy of statement of particulars of your business. You fill it, it is generated in the system, then you print it, sign it, submit it, pay for it, then it is certified, then you get it. Then you get also a certificate of registration, which is proof of registration of your sole proprietorship business. Uganda Registration Services Bureau, under the Uganda Registration Services Bureau Act, is the one that has the mandate to register businesses, register documents, and register and incorporate companies. So that is a sole proprietorship business. What is a sole proprietorship business? This is not a company. A sole proprietorship business does not have corporate status. Is not a separate legal entity from its owners. It is casually referred to as a small business. Yes. That's how it is casually referred to. Then there is what we call a partnership. A partnership is registered under the Business Names Registration Act, Section 4 and Section 5 also, and under the Partnerships Act. When you register your partnership, you get a certificate of registration under the Business Names Registration Act. Then you go ahead and draft a partnership deed under the Partnerships Act. You also register it. A partnership deed is a document that spells out the rights and obligations of partners in a business. It is the document that you use in bidding, in opening up bank accounts and related matters. Professionals generally, but Sira will talk about my own profession, the legal profession, operates through partnerships or firms, not companies. Yeah. So that's what we do. That's how we exist. That's how our firms exist.